Okay, so thanks for joining us and welcome to this information session about visual communications at the City of Glasgow College. So I'm Steph Toms, I'm Associate Dean for Visual Communications at the college, and I'm joined by Tom Elliott, who is Curriculum Head for Digital Media, by Stephen Aitken, who is Curriculum Head for Web Technologies, and by Doug Liddle, who is Curriculum Head for Digital Technologies. And we're also going to do a little presentation about our graphic arts section, which is managed by John Baird, who couldn't be here today. So you're really welcome. We're hoping this will be an interesting and informative session for you about visual communications, which often people are like, visual communications, what's that? Hopefully by the end of the session, you will have a bit of a better idea about what visual communications is at City of Glasgow and what courses we offer, and you can maybe see if there is a course that you would be interested in, or you know someone who would be interested in it. So I was just going to do a very quick overview and give you some information about our section as a whole, and then I'll pass on to each of the relevant curriculum heads for the area, who will tell you a little bit in more detail about their specialist area. All of us can be contacted after the session if you've got questions, and if there's anything else you want to know or ask us, then we're happy to speak to you. So, visual communications, this is an example of some work from one of our amazing graphic design students. And I guess the first question that many people might have is, what is visual communications? So I've done this little sway, and I can send out the link to that. You can have a look at it later. But basically, visual communications is lots of different things that you see. So things that you might not realise come under that banner: drawings, signs, websites, graphic design, illustration, type, computer games, all sorts of things. And at City of Glasgow College, we offer a wide range of qualifications which come under that heading. So I look after that area, and we have 4 different sub areas within that. We have so many courses that we have 4 different sub areas within that. So just to flag up that actually visual communications, there are lots of jobs in this sector, and I think sometimes that's maybe a common misconception, that within, you know, people sort of think within creative industries, oh, there aren't jobs and what would you do at the end of it? But actually there are lots of amazing careers in the field of visual communications, and the creative industries is one of the Scottish Government's growth sectors, so it is a growing sector. You know, it's not like jobs are disappearing, jobs are appearing, new jobs all of the time are appearing. So you can have a really fulfilling and well-paid career working in the creative industries, working within visual communications. And I've just listed some very brief examples of the kind of jobs that you might get or move into once you've completed one of our courses. So things that might be familiar to you might be things like graphic designer or an illustrator, but also digital designers, user experience and user interaction designers, art workers, games artists, games designers, 3D modelling artists, animators, all sorts of jobs, web designers, web developers, you might have heard of those kind of jobs, app developers, project managers. So lots of different and varied careers, and lots of overlap in the courses we deliver and the jobs that people go into, depending where their interests lie and where their strengths lie in terms of the things that they do. So this is an overview of the courses that we offer, and the staff will talk to you in a little bit more detail about that, and you can see the 4 different areas. So we have digital media, graphic arts, digital technologies and web technologies, and we have a range of courses at a range of levels within all 4 of those areas. And on our sway, there is a little click here button, which will take you to a page on the college website, and you can get more information on the courses, and you can also click the link, which would take you to the course page, which would give you more information and tell you how to apply for that course. On this way here, I've given a little example of some student work, which you can feel free to have a look through. A whole range of work, from drawings, illustrations, posters, apps, all sorts of things. So you can have a look at that. And we've also got some student testimonials, so I've put some here. And also there are plenty on the college website, the college YouTube page, which just Google City of Glasgow College YouTube. And we've got lots of videos of current and former students talking about their experience of the college. So I've just put a couple of them here. So the top one is Andrew, who's actually a current student. And Andrew has worked as a chef for years and decided to change career to become a web developer. And his story is really interesting, actually. So Andrew does a little bit of talking about changing career and how much he's enjoying his course and his reasons for studying at college. I've got a little written testimonial by Marius, who did our HND Digital Design Graphics course, and also there's a little video of one of our former students, Lauren, who did the same course, and she is now a user experience designer with the footwear company Shoe. So again, another really interesting story. So that's some testimonials. In terms of progression within our area, we have a good track record of students progressing on to university, some of the Scottish Arts colleges, even onto the Conservatoire, and we have formal articulation agreements in place with Glasgow Caledonian, Edinburgh Napier and Robert Gordon universities. But students go far and wide all over the place, and we're used to supporting students moving on after they've done their HNC or HND and articulating on to university. So the last thing I was just going to say was, this is our team. So this is me, and then we have the 4 curriculum heads. We're all here, well, apart from John, and our contact details. So if you've got specific inquiries about the individual courses, then our email addresses are on the sway, and you can just click on that and you can send us a little email if you have more questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand over to Tom, who is going to tell you a little bit about the digital media section.
Thanks very much, Steph. Yep, so my name is Tom Elliott. I'm in charge of a curriculum area called digital media, and I'm going to just tell you a little bit about my little group of courses, which are basically about digital creation in the areas of art, design and animation. And there's 4 courses I'm going to quickly go through so you've got an idea of what is on offer. The first one is an NQ level course. NQ level courses are entry level courses, and they're very suitable for people wanting to develop their skills, develop a strong skill set, produce a portfolio that will let them travel on to the next level of their education. And in this case, it's NQ Digital Art and Animation Portfolio. There's quite a lot of, in all my courses, there's a lot of time-based work. So I've included quite a lot of movies and animations in all these examples. So this is an example of some of the NQ work during block 1 coming up to Christmas, and the theme was produce a hug, because that was the one thing that we couldn't do at that stage, is hug each other. So there they all are. It's a lively, exciting course, and it prepares you, as I say, for the next stage. What you need to get into the course is National 5 Art and Design and National 5 English at grade C or above, or other equivalent qualifications or experience. And it's quite important to emphasize that there's a degree of flexibility in terms of the entrance requirements. But if you're thinking about dipping your toe in the water of this area, digital art, animation, digital design, this is a good starting point, okay? You study a variety of different topics, such as analytical drawing, storyboarding, video production, animation, digital media skills. And by the end, you should have a robust portfolio of work that will help you travel onto the next course, the next level of your education, either within the college or elsewhere at other colleges or even at university. Okay. And there's a couple of dancing robots, because we all love dancing robots. The next course that I'm going to talk about is HND Digital Design Graphics, which is one of the courses that you could travel on to from my NQ course. The Digital Design Graphics course is all about screen-based digital content production, strong design skills, And it really helps you develop a really strong skill set in the area of graphic design, screen-based graphic design, media content, interactive multimedia applications, web, mobile app, that kind of thing. Here's an example of a piece of second year work, just to give you a little flavor. I would turn it's better with the audio on, but I don't want to deafen everyone. So this is a title sequence for a sci-fi movie, sci-fi series, that kind of thing. And it kind of exemplifies the kind of work that is produced on the HND digital design graphics course. Minimum entry requirements are higher in art and design or graphic communication at grade C or above, and National 5 English. Okay, so that's kind of standard for most of the HND courses that you'll come across. Areas that you study will include digital imaging, graphic design, typography, web design, visual effects, 2D and 3D animation, preparing a portfolio. What you will get by the end of your second year is, again, a really robust set of creative skills that will allow you to travel on to the next level of your education. I'll just start, these are a few more examples of work by students on the course. So I'll just set them playing. You can just have a wee look at those while I'm talking. Really good articulation routes onto courses such as the Digital Design Graphics BSc at Glasgow Caledonian University, Viscom BA at Dundee University, BA Digital Media at Napier University, and BA Digital Art at University of the West of Scotland, among many others. Okay, so you have lots of opportunities in terms of progression, and we have a high success rate in terms of allowing people to progress onto the next level. Just to give you a flavor, here's a show reel from the kind of business that tends to employ our graduates. So this is RTS 360, a company based in Glasgow and Manchester, producing digital content of the highest level. And this is the kind of company that we see students and graduates regularly progressing onto and working for. And again, just to re-emphasize that idea that it is a growth area. You know, I don't think there's ever been a better time to go into digital media because there's so much digital content, there's so much real estate these days to be filled. So it's a really exciting area to develop, a really exciting area to explore. And I really encourage you to think about it as a career path. Okay, so that gives you a little flavor of digital design graphics HND. 2 more to go, nearly there. The next course I wanted to talk about is HND New Media Art. It is a little more fine art in its profile, but again with a digital twist. So here are a few examples of work produced on the course by students. What it does, the New Media Art course, is provide a foundation in art and design. And as it says here, it gives you the opportunity to develop project-based work in mixed media, digital video, digital sound, interactive media, creative coding, and other forms of computer-based art. It's a very broad course, and it allows people to progress onto a very wide range of different degree level study. What it does do, it produces students, or it gives them the opportunity to develop skills and interests and knowledge that make you ready for the next level of study, and allows you to choose from a very, very, very wide range of different career paths. And this is exemplified by the number of different courses that students have gone on to after completing the HND. Examples of the courses that students have gone on to from the HND New Media Art include, and this is a long list, BA Filmmaking at the Royal Conservatoire, Games Development at the University of West of Scotland, Interaction Design at Napier University, Interaction Design at Glasgow School of Art, Computer Arts at Abertay University, Fine Art Photography at Glasgow School of Art, art and philosophy and digital interaction design at the University of Dundee, fine art, sculpture and environmental art, or interaction design at Glasgow School of Art, 3D animation and visualization at Glasgow Caledonian University, digital art and design and computer animation at the University of Western Scotland, and others. Just about everyone in the course who wants to articulate onto degree level manages to do so, and we're very proud of that fact. It makes you into a very interesting person, it makes you into a very knowledgeable person, and it makes you someone who is ready for degree level study. The final course I wanted to talk about, which is within my area, is HND Creative Animation. This jolly chap here is the first frame of the show reel for last year's second year course. Creative animation does exactly what it says on the tin. You study 2D and 3D animation techniques, traditional, non-traditional, experimental, and apply that to a whole range of different projects. The one thing I would say about creative animation is highly oversubscribed, so I don't really need to sell it very hard. What I would say, and I'm just, after this, I'm going to quickly show you an example of a successful portfolio submitted by an applicant to the HND course. If you want to apply for creative animation, get your application in quickly, early on, to serve the best, to have the best chance of success. Applications for all these courses start around about the middle of January. Okay, again, similar entry requirements as the other courses. And after the course, students progress on to a variety of animation courses. Okay, BA Honours Animation at Dundee, Animation at Edinburgh College of Art, Time-Based Art at the University of Dundee, although that's now defunct, I believe. 3D animation and visualization, Glasgow CalU, digital art and design at UWS, computer animation at the University of West of Scotland. If you're interested in animation, 2D, stop frame, this is a very, very suitable course for you. It is very oversubscribed, so I'd recommend applying early. What kind of applicant is successful for that course? You may be asking. I'll quickly give you an example. Here's a very good portfolio that someone submitted. Scroll to the top. Let's see if this works. So what do we look for in portfolios? Well, we look for strong drawing, observational drawing, use of line, use of media. We want students to have a real voracious interest in the world around them. We love students who experiment in their portfolio. We love students who have a little awareness of art and design, the context within their work, within which they're working. So you see this applicant, Katie, has got a real variety of different techniques and processes, a bit of higher work in here, alongside some more personal examples of work, all collated together in a really nice PDF, which is a great way of submitting a portfolio in these digital ages. There's a nice squirrel. We all like squirrels, don't we? Scrolling down, as you see, a nice variety of work, lots of imagination, and a clear and genuine interest in the subject area. That's really what everybody wants to see in a portfolio. Nice use of line, bit of photography in there. I have to say, this applicant could have applied to any of my courses and got a place. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight into the kind of portfolio that we're looking for. As with the other sways, at the bottom of the sway, there's a link which will take you onto the college website and give you more information about the courses. And from there, an opportunity to apply for courses. And if you have any further questions, obviously, don't hesitate to get in touch. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of information and insight into my little curriculum area. It's a whole lot of fun, so if you're interested, come and join us. Okay, thanks very much. And now I think I'm passing on to
Me.
back to Steph.
For John. Seeing as John's not here, thank you, Tom.
Okay.
That's really useful. Thank
Thank you
you
very much.
So I am going to share my screen and show you a little PDF that John has given me. And I will just get the view correct. So John Baird looks after the area of graphic arts, and I'm just going to talk you through the different courses that we have on graphic arts. So we have HND graphic design, which is, we run 3 cohorts of that in first year and 2 in second year. It's a really popular programme, and probably this is one of the programmes that people think they know what it is. So it covers lots of different things. Some of the things John has listed here: typography, zines, packaging design, corporate identity, advertising, web design, self-promotion. Using Adobe Creative Cloud software, they have a range of live projects and competitions, study trips when we can do that, depending on COVID. And John has just mentioned about the sort of creative process, so research, the design process, and we use sketchbooks a lot on this programme, so you need to be up for using your sketchbook. So these are just some examples of some of the student work that John has provided. So this is branding and corporate identity work, some page layout and typography. So you can see the kind of standard of the work the students are producing. Some advertising work, packaging design. So we quite often do packaging design for different drinks and socks and all sorts of things. And then we're on to HND illustration. So like Tom's creative animation course, this course HND illustration tends to be heavily oversubscribed. So it's another one, if you're interested in HND illustration, you should really apply very early. It's one of the most oversubscribed courses in the college, and it always fills very, very quickly. So HND illustration involves a wide range of work related to illustration. So a lot of drawing. You need to have very, very sound drawing skills to be on the HND illustration programme. A lot of experimenting with different media, so trying out different techniques, using printmaking, using inks, using collage, using all sorts of different techniques. They look at editorial illustration, book illustration, murals, packaging, advertising campaigns, and again, lots of live projects and competitions, lots of work again in your sketchbooks, and we do try and get students out and about on study trips when it's possible. So this is a nice example of a student's work, a lovely illustrative piece, and some packaging for Absolute Vodka. And another example of that, this work's really strong. And then there's some more experimental work and observational drawing. So as I said, your drawing skills need to really be very, very strong to be accepted into the HND illustration course. And that's something that we do throughout. We do live drawing as part of the course and other drawing units as well. John also looks after the NQ graphic arts portfolio, so sort of along the same lines as Tom's NQ course. It's an entry-level course, so it sits at level 6 and is a portfolio building course essentially, so it's a kind of pathway course, focused more on graphic arts. So again, they undertake a broad range of different projects, looking at drawing, looking at colour, media illustration, graphic design, packaging design, advertising. Again, lots of sketchbook work and using Adobe Creative Cloud. So starting, you don't need to have any prior experience, starting to get to know the software, knowing how to utilise the software. And again, we try and do live projects and competitions and trips and things with the NQ students as well. Lots of these students progress on to our HNDs or onto other programmes at other colleges. And again, it's heavily sketchbook based, so students need to be wanting to work in a sketchbook. So there's a couple of lovely examples of analytical drawing that was undertaken on the NQ course. The students usually hate doing self-portraits at the beginning, but as their confidence builds and they get better, they produce some amazing work. Here's some illustration examples for the NQs, and they do a project creating kind of game artwork for a PlayStation game. So this is some examples of that. And this is a live project for graphic design. So this was a kind of branding project for City Radio, which is the college radio station. And here's a sketchbook example for NQ Graphic Arts. So you can see how much the students are working in their sketchbook and they're expected to produce a lot of work in their sketchbook. Some more research and development work, another live project. So you can see the very basic sketches which are forming a logo design. More of that and seeing how it comes together. And then there's the final logo. So in terms of applying for the course, visit the college website, find the course that you want to apply for. You'll be asked to upload qualifications and you will get sent information about a portfolio or examples of your work. We usually invite you to an information session and a short informal interview. We're doing those online this year. We usually do them in person on campus. And you have an opportunity to find out more about the course and ask questions. The interviews are usually between February and May, but the earlier you apply, the better. And John's given his email address there for any inquiries. And then a bit about portfolio, which I'm actually going to switch over to another little sway that I had. And I'm just going to show you that. So this one here. So I'll just make that in the bigger screen. Can you see that okay? Not sure if I'm still sharing. That better. So this is a little sway just showing you something we've been developing, which is a kind of visual guide to what we're looking for. This is an example is for a graphic design portfolio. Similar rules apply and you will be sent some information about what we're looking for in your portfolio. So we often get asked, what examples of my work do you want to see? And it can be hard just to describe that. So we thought we would give you some examples. Now, this is a strong portfolio, strong examples of portfolio, similar to what Tom showed. It doesn't necessarily need to be at this level, but this is our kind of ideal scenario for a portfolio. So what we would suggest is that you consider including drawings, but not all drawings. You are applying for a kind of graphic arts program. We want to see some design work. We want to see how you use colour. We want to see you experimenting with a range of media. Ideally, we want to see research and development of ideas in a sketchbook or some kind of process which shows the creative process. We would love to see completed designs and other relevant artwork. We're happy to see schoolwork, but would like to see other things as well. So any personal work, commissions, things you've done for other interests that you have, scouts, guides, a band, poster, t-shirt, whatever, those kind of things we're always interested in. And photographs of any large or three-dimensional work that you've made that you're not able to show examples of. So this is really designed as a visual guide to just help you in the application process. So I'll just flick through it. There's some kind of mark making work, which is really interesting. This is some collage paper work, which is beautiful with the using letter forms. You can see some kind of preparatory work for a poster, and you can see the kind of process of how the person has developed ideas. And then you can see the digital posters and some other finished poster work. We've also got some experimental work based on the dot, line and shape theme, so using experimenting with different media. There's things sprayed and inks and paintbrushes and things like that. We've got some more digital posters there, some drawing. So it's good to see strong drawing skills, but we don't want a portfolio just full of drawing within the graphic arts area. So you can see some of that there. We've got preparatory work for a book jacket. And then there is the final design. So it's good to see that kind of process and then the final outcome. We've got some little mock-ups. Here's some more sort of printed collages. And this was development work for a label for, I think it's olive oil or pumpkin seed oil or something like that. And then you can see at the end, the finished mocked up kind of packaging there. So hopefully that helps to kind of see what we're looking for as part of graphic arts. So now I am going to pass over to Doug, who is going to tell you a little bit about his area of games and 3D computer animation.
Excuse the noise in the background, everyone. Hi, I'm Doug Little. I'm the curriculum head for digital technologies. I've kept my presentation a bit simpler than some of the other ones you've seen today. My area, digital technologies, covers games development and 3D computer animation. So if I can just move on to my presentation and just click through. We run a range of courses from level 5 NQ up through to level 8 HND. It's kind of a pyramid structure. You can start at level 5 on computer games and animation. It's really a taster level course to see if you've got the right skills to become a more programming sort of side and go into games development, or if you're more visual and you go down into computer modeling and animation. And the practical routes for going down either of those NQ routes will take you into HNC and HND computer games development, or into our HND 3D computer animation courses. So I've just made some fairly short slides for each of those courses. You'll find that we fill up this department really pretty quickly. So we're sitting here in April just now. I'm pretty much full for next year. If you want to apply for these courses, you need to apply fairly early to guarantee yourself the chance of a place. So if we start off at our level 5 course, NQ Computer Games and Animation, it's really an entry-level taster course for a little bit of animation, a little bit of computer modeling, using both 2D and 3D formats, and also some games development. So we'll bring in games design, gameplay, but we'll also start bringing in programming elements. Generally at this level, we would be using packages like Game Maker Studio for 3D modeling. We'll be using 3D Studio Max, and for all the sort of 2D and drawing work, we'll be using the Adobe Creative Cloud Creative Suite to develop. We also bring in a little taster for mathematics at this level. If you're going to go down a games route, you need to be capable of doing calculus, matrices, doing sort of advanced maths for gaming. And we also bring in some practical drawing techniques for character development. There's a few images here from a project done at the beginning of the year here for developing a little character, Professor Pepper, which went from a 2D character from drawings into developed in 2D software. And you'll see this early development of a 3D model of Dr. Pepper, which turned into a sort of fuller animation. Computer games development, if we feel that if you're moving on from our level 5 course, or you're coming in starting at a level 6 course, you're looking at going down a line of being able to develop visuals for gaming, develop storylines, develop graphics, but also you need to be able to learn how to code in gaming. Again, generally here we'll be using Game Maker Studio, we'll be using Unity for gaming. We'll also do sort of asset creation for generating characters. We'll do some basic game designs. How do you create game design documents? How do you develop that? How do you then code and build those games? We also start bringing in more higher level maths. We do some algebra, leading on into some introductory calculus in here. And we develop for computer-based screens, we develop also some sort of mobile games in here. And we also start learning some of the other skills you need, sort of the softer skills. We do developing media assets, things like audio development, graphic development, sound development as part of this. So we can bring all the different elements together in our gaming. Down the other NQ route, we've got our NQ computer modeling and animation. The key for this is that we're looking for students who've got an eye for designing on computer software. We'll do some 2D computer animation, but the main aim of this course is to lead you down towards a route to develop 3D computer graphics if you're going to move on to our HND development here. So again, you'll see there's some crossover between the two level 6 courses. We'll be doing some animation on both courses. We'll do a bit of 2D, a bit of 3D, but we'll find that if you're going down the computer modeling and animation route, you won't be going into any sort of coding. You'll be much more visual work, leading towards developing characters, developing environments, dealing with lighting and special effects for developing in 3D Studio Max. We'll also do a little bit of audio and video so that you can create sort of little show reels of what you've created and learn about all the different elements that go together when you're going to become a 3D computer animator, 3D modeler. When we move on through our course structures, our HNC and HND computer games development is hugely popular. It fills up in a heartbeat at the beginning of the year, both with our internal NQ students and with our external students coming in. We could fill the course twice over by the end of January, pretty much here. What we tend to do here is we take all our students on in first year as HNC students, so that you have to apply to come into our second year. We take the best of our students into our second year program, but they need to apply to move into our second year. We spend the first year of the course really dealing with sort of developing games in 2D using Unity, using Game Maker Studio. We bring in a little bit of Unreal Engine, and we look at things like structured programming, developing programs from the beginning of the year the whole way through. We run little projects that start basically in block 1 running from August, and by the end of June the next year you'll have worked on coding particular and developing games the whole way through the year. Generally most of the first year will be done using 2D platform development games. You'll also do things like game theory. You'll generate graphics for your games. You'll develop interface designs. And we also bring in some introductory mathematics at higher level here. We do integration, we do differentiation, we do calculations with matrices, so you understand how the physics behind gaming works, how objects move about the screen, how they rotate, how they move towards, how they collide, all that sort of general gaming. By the time we move into the second year of the HND, we run 2 class groups in the second year. We do a lot more 3D development. So we touch on it in the first year of the HND. We do a little introductory 3D unit. By the time we get to second year, we do more advanced 3D modeling. We do 3D level editing for games using 3D Studio Max, using Unreal Engine. And by the end of the second year, our students have pretty much developed projects where they can design and build their own games. They can code their games. They can do all the design behind those games. Some examples of graphics that come into our first year here. This is based around a card-based gaming, computer-based card-based gaming, developing characters. This will have been done using Adobe Illustrator. So if you're into card gaming, you'll see all the different styles of layout that you would get for doing that. And these would be developed into computer-based games. So you can see the board down in the bottom right-hand corner here, where the board's laid out. You've got your suspect cards, and you've got your range of different graphics cards there that you can play as online board games. Our 3D computer animation course has been highly successful. We're benchmarked pretty much as the best course in the UK for this, going by results we have from external competitions. We enter the UK Skills Show through World Skills every year, and we are pretty much guaranteed finalists there every year at the NEC in Birmingham. Generally, we're coming home with a good handful of medals for our 3D students for this. The aim of our 3D course is to get some practical skills in developing environments, developing characters, working with lighting, working with special effects, working with cameras. We also do a little bit of practical drawing skills in our course. We do general object drawing skills. We do life drawing classes in there. And you'll see that throughout the 2 years of the course, what we do is we start off at an introductory level for character and environmental modeling, and it builds through the 2-year program where we're taking basic introductory level through to highly advanced level where we're developing full-scale environments, we're developing characters, we're animating full projects by the end. We do the majority of our work for the 3D animation course using 3D Studio Max software. You may have used other software like Maya or Blender. We will teach you through 3ds Max, but if you're going to go out into industry in this area, a general ability to use a whole range of different software is what you're looking for in here. And that pretty much gives you a brief overview of what happens in the digital technologies department. So apologies for that being a bit briefer than some of the other presentations you've had, but that's what you're getting from me just now. So I'm going to pass over now to Stevie, who's going to talk to you about the web technologies area.
Okay, just put down share my screen. So this is okay. You see that okay, guys? On the slideshow. Do you guys see that okay, yeah? Guys, can you...
Yep, it's good, Stevie.
Just give me a second here. Can you see it, Steph? Yeah? Okay, thank you. I just didn't know whether it was showing there or not. Can you hear me okay, yeah? Can you hear me? Yeah? Guys, hello there. My name's Stephen Aitken. I'm the head of the department for web technologies, part of Faculty of Creative Industries. So thanks for listening to me today. I will do similar to the guys. I'll run through some of the courses, show some examples of work, etc. Before I start with my department, the web technologies, it's such a broad set of skills and it merges in so many different areas. But what we try to do within the department is focus on developing and merging technical and visual skills to support and provide opportunities for our students to design and develop responsive, interactive and dynamic content for modern platforms. It's quite a bit of a mouthful, but what we tend to find is we have more students who tend to get students who are more interested in both sides of sort of design and development. So people who have got taken an interest also in things like the graphics side of it, visual, and also go out and planning how the graphics may work in terms of interactive development of web products or applications. So that's what we tend to try and develop skills for that for students, and that's what we tend to find come across in the programme. So we're not specifically either software developers or we're not specifically in the realms of like graphic design. Some of the courses, this is just all the courses in our department, guys. I'm not going to speak about them all, but we have a level 5 NQ computing with digital media. We have an NQ computing level 6. We have an HNC digital design and web development. We have an HND web development. And also when we have the numbers for it, we can run an HND digital design and development. And that's a year 2. And I'll explain that as part of my presentations to go through it. We also run an evening course in web design in Northern, and we also manage some of the foundation apprenticeship ICT groups too. Those are our progression routes for our programmes. Normally, when you would come in and you wouldn't really be very sure, but maybe before you want to start, then computing with digital media level 5 is a good starting point. If you successfully get through that programme for the year, we can move you on to NQ computing level 6. Or there's also options to move within other areas as well. And it's worth explaining that to you. Although you may come to a particular department, you are able to move between departments and take on other related courses if the departments themselves feel that you're kind of suitable, you have the skills to move up another level. So it's still quite flexible. From the level 6s, we also have an opportunity and flexibility where we can send students to other HNDs, but within my department, what we would normally do is you'd run through the strand tier of digital media, NQ computing. Either we would move into an HNC digital design and web development, or we would move into an HND web development. Just so you're aware of that, both of the first years, this course here and the first year of this programme are pretty similar. They're both needed to progress on to year 2s. Now, the year 2s of these sort of frameworks or programmes will allow you to progress on to an HND digital design and development, or it will allow you to progress on to year 2 of the web development programme. And I'll explain why you might decide to take one or the other throughout this presentation. Once you come through the HND, you can move on to university, or you can move into employment, and that's the same with all our programmes. So what I'll do is I'll discuss, just very briefly, each of the programmes. The NQ Computing with Digital Media Level 5. It is essentially, it's a course that's just suitable for applicants who've got some genuine interest in this sort of field of digital media. When we would discuss digital media in terms of web design, audio, video, graphics and animation, a lot of these programs take on it within introductory levels of it. It's a good starting point if you're looking to progress to further creative studies. So if you enjoy working with these types of media, sort of audio, video, graphics, and animation, and putting them together in different sort of applications, whether it be a website or a small sort of development application, and you enjoy the idea of bringing together sort of your visual skills and your technical skills, then it's a great starting point for you. The program's really, really successful. We have a lot of students that come through, start at digital media level 5, and we end up seeing them working through up until higher national HND level programs. To come on the programme itself, guys, you don't need huge amounts of previous computer experience. You can't come on board and have none whatsoever. You should have a genuine interest in that area. And if you're coming from school, then all the schools themselves, they put some focus on that throughout fourth and fifth year. So you've probably had some experience of that at some point, maybe through a computing class. The entry requirements for a level 5 programme are 3 national 4 qualifications, including English and maths or numeracy. Again, we can be flexible with that, depending on how we perceive you as part of the application process. With the progression from a level 5, you can progress on to related level 6 programmes within our department, or you can move on to other departments. So when we move on, we can move on to NQ Computing Level 6. And this is a little bit more advanced study in technical areas, because I'm sort of web technologies. Web technologies is such a broad area as well, like many others, like digital design. And to be a web designer or a web developer, then it's important that you have an awareness of subjects such as computer science and cybersecurity, network and software development, because it's such a broad-based set of skills that can move into many different areas of this industry, that we tend to kind of just move on to kind of slightly more advanced levels for NQ Computing Level 6. The course itself is not an introductory course, so it's not suitable for applicants with little or no previous computer experience. The Level 6 programme for us is kind of at that point where you're almost making up your mind about what it is you want to progress on to. If you're thinking of moving on to a higher national level programmes, then that's really the point where you've maybe kind of honed your interests and you've decided and you've made choices about where you want to move to. So this is why we wouldn't suggest that someone would come into this programme completely from scratch and have little knowledge about it. So it's a build-up from the level 5 programmes that adds a little bit more in terms of technical skills, with just a little bit more web development, some computer science thrown in there, cybersecurity, which is important for anyone who works on a digital network in itself, understand how networks function, you know, how we can move data around about them, and some software development too. With this programme, the entry requirements are 3 national 5 qualifications at grade C or above. I should have mentioned as well, if you're coming from a level 5 programme, you would gain access to a level 6 programme, either from within the college or from another institute. The progression from a level 6 course is naturally up to higher national level, which might be an HNC or an HND related course in either computer science and web development. We deliver the web development aspects of that, and we have quite a few students who come through and move up to the HN programmes. What we also run is HNC Digital Design and Web Development, and you would probably begin to specialise at that point. We have a mix of students who maybe come from school, who have taken the computer science subject in school, and maybe part of that would likely have been web, it would have been HTML and CSS, etc., and they've shown a keen interest in that. Then that's very suitable for school pupils who are looking to come onto our programme at that point, because we know they've got past experience of it and they normally do really, really well in it. We also have students who maybe have been quite interested. We also get more mature students who come back sometimes who have maybe been looking to get involved in a sort of digital design sector, but finding that they were unable to because they didn't have any sort of web design, web development experience at all, and they kind of needed that to get themselves involved with the industry. So we kind of get a mix of students who do that. But the digital design and web development is a mix again of creative subjects, technical and visual, and we work with the different media formats, graphics, audio, video. We do UX design, interface design, we work with content management systems, we do some team working, and we do web design and development. And we bring all that together in a single year programme. And the course is suitable for students who have an interest in this field or who may have had some previous experience. So at the end of year one in that programme, you will be able to visualise, plan, design and develop products for mobile devices and for the web, which are responsive, which means that they will display and they'll function and they'll be interactive in whatever platform you're actually going to be working within. Within that, because it's not just a technical programme, we also kind of put a bit of focus on user experience skills and interface design skills as well, to make sure that what we're developing for these unique platforms are actually fit for purpose for it. So it's good if you like working visually and you like then seeing what you plan and bringing it together and weaving it together with different technologies. The web has got so many different technologies. It's really quite fascinating field to be involved in. The entry requirements for the programme are 1 higher and National 5 qualifications, preferably within the sort of the latest subject. Where can you progress on to? You can progress on to HND Web Development or HND Digital Design and Development within these programmes. We've also got an HND Web Development. I kind of explained that the first year of the HND Digital Design and Web Development and the first year of the Web Development are kind of similar programmes based on the SQA framework. But where the HND Web Development is kind of different is that we tend to put more focus on people who want to be web developers or more robust web designers. So there's more a focus on the interactions, the coding side of it, and also the dynamic aspects of talking to databases and pulling data back from databases and learning and understanding how to present that back on the screen using the different tools that we can use as you'd use as part of your web development or web design toolkit. So we tend to kind of study, traditionally we do for all our programs, HTML5 and CSS is standard across the board. Those are the sort of, those are the frameworks of the web for us, but we tend to look more at functionality. So we explore technologies such as JavaScript and JavaScript libraries. You may have heard of a JavaScript library called jQuery, which is a popular one, but you use more than that. And we also work with kind of modern frameworks, JavaScript frameworks, which we're trying to get to the point where we're delivering content in the way where we would now see web designers and actually web developers developing within industry itself. We also work with APIs. Those are called application programming interfaces, but it's how data gets sent to your browser. A weather widget, seeing the weather forecast already on your smartphone or a web browser is a very simple example of an API. So we show students how to bring all these existing tools that are out there onto web pages as well. We're not expecting within any of the courses that everyone should be able to develop everything. We are there also to provide an awareness of tools that are out there, which will allow you to speed up the process and make you more productive, as you will tend to find that what's going to happen within industry anyway. And we also look at other subject areas like a language called PHP, and this is where we're talking about working with databases. So PHP and MySQL are languages that talk to databases, that pull information from databases and web servers. Why do we do that? We do that because we appreciate the web. Every time you request a web page, the data is coming from a database and a web server somewhere. And even if that's not going to be your final interest when you move to these courses and you feel that maybe you don't want to be involved in the database side of it and server side of it, even if you wanted to be a designer, like what we would call like front end or client side designers, you're still going to be involved with these technologies, and you're going to have to understand how you would actually present the content on the screen visually for the users at that point. So it's really important that we add these sort of subject areas into the course. We also find as well within these subject areas that these are quite commonly asked of an interviewee. Whenever you go to a job interview, you're probably likely to be asked to do a task, and quite often these areas tend to come up as part of the task. The course is suitable for students who have an interest. You really want to have an interest in this area. It's quite a unique field. It's developing all of the time, but you do want to have an interest in it, and probably not just like a past interest where you've maybe read something, you fancy being a web developer. It's quite an intense program. It takes students to a good level over the course of the 2 years, and it fully prepares them to move into employment if they wish to do so, and it also gives them a really good platform for moving on to year 3 at university. The entry requirements for the programme, again, we're doing one higher because you may decide to access at the end of the first year. So we're keeping these the same for all with HNGs and HNDs. And the progression routes for these are year 3 university and employment. Now, we have a final programme here, guys, which this really is based on numbers and whether it runs or not, which is called HND, Digital Design and Development. Everyone studies HNC, Digital Design and Web Development, but in year 2, you've got an opportunity to decide whether your preferences and maybe your skill sets are really more sort of content creation and sort of front end, what the user sees. So you may be more visual. So you might be more interested in working with graphics. You may actually want to work with more audio and video production, less programming. You may also want to dip your feet into things like small things like games development and application development. It's more of a broader based program, which is a very good set of skills to have if you're moving into a design agency as well. It's good to have a broad set of skills, but it's not quite as focused as the second year of the web development. So it kind of moves away from that. So if you're feeling that maybe like coding and a little bit of software development within the creative aspects of it are maybe not your strengths, then you can be looking at the digital design and development year 2 program. It's very much like kind of the old school multimedia programs that kind of ran for the last 20 years within the sort of FE sector. If you want to join the year 2 of that program, you need to complete an HNC Digital Design and Web Development year 1. You can't get entry otherwise. And progression from that program is similar to other HNDs. We've got year 3 university access, and we've also got employment routes for you too. Unlike some of the other guys, it's difficult for me to try and display websites because they're actually interactive, as you were aware. They're not static, so it's really, really difficult to kind of try and capture the essence of it. Here, I'll put up some screens of the designs that students have come up with. What it isn't able to show you here, guys, there's a lot of stuff for these. Is the amount of effort that's went into bringing all this together. These are not just laid out. These are not screens laid out in Photoshop. These have been created first of all through a wireframe technology, and then they've probably been taken into Photoshop or another image manipulation package at some point, a bitmap application, and then they've been extracted and then they've been used within web development or web design. And so we're seeing coding, we're seeing HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, MySQL, and all the other sort of skill sets like UX design and UI design, all bringing these together within this. We've got students who've been taking their own photography as well, and they've brought their own assets, their own media content. And so we're only seeing kind of static screens, but we do a lot in the background as well. And a lot of the work that we have here has secure access areas and login accounts where you can go in, you can manipulate the content like a content management system. So we lead all our students up to the point where any content you see on the front end of these sort of interactive products, it's all been driven from a database in the background, and it can all be edited and controlled at any one time. So there's a lot more that's going on that I'm not really able to show you at the moment. The set of screens that have come up here are just a range of some of the live clients that we've worked with recently. 2 of them thought it'd be relevant because it's student RAG and school leavers. We have just students who have completely redesigned and developed these applications. We've got a very current one called ThriveWise to the college itself actually recently, and I believe that these people are working as consultants with the college. And we've been working with a mental health and drug abuse and alcohol abuse organisation called FAST, and we've redeveloped the website. I'm only showing one example of that. But we're not in a unique position, I would say, but we're in a favourable position in terms of the web technologies, that people are always phoning up the college or me or asking someone else in the department, you know, we need a website built. It might be a freelancer, it might be someone looking for a shopping cart, it might be someone advertising a service. But we've been involved in quite a lot of these live clients over the last few years. It's been a fantastic experience for our students to get involved, because it tends to work on, someone was calling it soft skills, other people now call it like human skills, but the other side of not just being a practitioner and working with content, is actually being able to get on with other people and negotiating along with them. So we're finding that's been really probably one of the strongest aspects of the programmes, is working with live clients with the students. What would be some of the benefits of working with us, guys? I mean, the college is fantastic. Anyway, the City of Glasgow College is amazing. Never mind, you know, we're all back in the building again. It was a fantastic experience in the building. But like many of the courses, we focus on practical elements. And as I've said already, you work with live clients to build your competence, knowledge and experience. It's really not theory driven. It's very much get hands-on, sitting, working on practical projects pretty much all of the time. And when we can bring in live clients, it adds that extra dynamic for students. We also have opportunities to take part in the national, European and international World Skills competitions. We've only recently engaged within World Skills, but I would say without having winners, we've been successful in getting recommendations, commendations over the last 2 years, and getting students to the actual national finals in Birmingham. So we're pretty proud of that, and we're working again with students this year. So maybe hopefully next year we will see some further success. For females, we have a Dell STEM Aspire mentoring programme, and this is for undergraduate females who are looking to get into technology, and it's there to support females because it's so misrepresented. So we run that every year, and that's a fantastic mentoring programme. We have the progression routes to further study at college and university. We have job opportunities, lots of job opportunities. I would say that with my web students, whether they're leaving after year 2 or whether they're moving on to university, where university as well will hone their skills further, there are fantastic opportunities out there. It's such a dynamic and growing sector at the moment, and you can imagine that as everything is fully part of this digitisation sort of project that's happening globally, then more and more people are just going to be getting immersed with the internet and the web and getting more products online. So it is a great career opportunity at this moment in time. And on top of all that, we will provide excellent student support and pastoral care within the programme. We're very kind of passionate about our students, and we realise that people are making big efforts to come on these programmes. So we're doing our very best to support them throughout the years that they're with us and try and move them on to be successful. These articulation routes, third year entry points for us are Glasgow Caledon University, Napier University, UWS and Robert Gordon University. All of these routes that we have are for both digital design and web related courses. So there is somewhere there's comfort, and there is an exit route from the college and an articulation route to university once you leave from the HND programmes. Our students who normally take on these programmes are normally very well suited and prepared to move and have very highly successful times at university, with many of them on their honours programme. So we feel that we feel that we're providing a good, robust set of skills for the guys to move on and be successful. I'm not going to go that screen, but I'm going to share this as a PDF, but I believe that Steph has already discussed some of this, some of the student recommendations. So I'm just going to move on from that screen there. Careers, what could you have? You might be, I'm nearly finished now, by the way. What could you have as careers? Well, within our area, web designers, UX designers, web developers, application developers, software developers, graduate programs, where we see several students take on graduate programs, and we have project management and technical roles, and that's just a range of some of the fields you can get involved in. Some of the job opportunities we have, where might you work? You might be interested in that. Most organisations need staff who are well trained to work with IT and work with digital technologies, but most of our students will move on to web design and development companies, digital marketing agencies, retailers. We have quite a lot of movement in the government, and we also have students who return to teaching education, and we've had several students who come back and work with us with teaching students, and thoroughly enjoyed that experience. And I won't go over that, but I'll provide this as part of the PDF. That's just a range of some of the students, recent students who have been into jobs. So I'm quite confident that we do well enough to support our students. And that is me at the end of my presentation. That's my contact, which you'll have as part of the PDF. And that is a link to web technologies and the visual comms section of the college website. Guys, thank you for listening to me this afternoon, and I'll pass you back to Steph. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevie, for that coverage of your area. So that draws the session to a close. I hope it's been helpful. We appreciate there is a lot of crossover in our areas. It's very hard as an applicant to know which course am I best suited to, which one, what it's actually like when I get there. We hope we've given you a little bit of insight into that. But if you do have any questions or queries, or you're wondering about things, then please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. For those of you who are watching this in the playback and who've requested the link to the recording, I will send out the links to the sways and PDFs alongside that. And please don't hesitate to get in touch, and thanks for watching.